You can ask, but you can ask other questions or more questions, or that's just kind of like topics to lead into.
Oh, 1 second. I got it.
Are the boys ready to come home?
I don't think so. They're just kind of happy with whatever. So I feel like we haven't talked in a while. All I know is that Monique was pissed yesterday. That's all I know.
Well, for good reason.
Do you want to talk about it or no?
We can. I want to talk about going to Solvang because that was fun, but we could say that for a different episode.
Is that, I don't know what that is. Just real quick, is that what is it? Like, no.
It's a town, it's probably about 30 minutes outside of Santa Barbara that is, like, it's a Dutch town. All standby passengers, see me at the podium for your seat assignment.
Non Rev Lounge is a travel and aviation podcast. Monique, Lara, and Tyler are three friends that work for a major airline as gate agent, flight attendant, and ramp worker. During this podcast, they will discuss using their flight benefits to travel the world, as well as talk about things that happen at work. They have guests on almost every week to share their travels and stories, leaving tips on the best places to travel or things to do. Enjoy.
Good morning and welcome to the Non Rev Lounge. I'm Tyler.
It's evening here. I'm Lara.
And I'm Monique.
Yeah,
They're Monique.
It's probably almost 7 now. It's 7 o'clock, yeah.
It's 10 a.m. here. Yeah, I wrote you guys this morning and I said, can you guys record? Because the morning here is the only time, because by the time it's afternoon here, it's late night there. So, but yeah, this is the second time we're recording on my trip. Put out an episode between the two because we had the two guys on the plane. I was finally able to get it edited. So thanks to them for joining us. That's fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun episode.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought we'd just jump on and do another quick one for as part of my trip. Catch up with you guys. As I said before we started, I haven't talked to you guys. So how have you been?
Good, just working a lot, and Tani's on spring break, so chilling a little bit too.
Does she have this week also?
Yeah, so this week's doctor's appointments
That's
and
nice.
getting stuff done.
Is this her
teachers,
second week or first week?
What was that?
Is this her first of two or their second of two?
The second, so we're on the tail end of our spring break, yeah.
So it matches up the same as my boys, the 2 weeks.
Lara, you've been doing a lot of Dallas turns, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Dallas overnights.
Are you getting sick of them?
No, not yet. They've been kind of fun because it's fun to be on the Dreamliner, and I work the door, so it's fun when the passengers come on and they're all like, "Oh, this airplane's so big." Then I love saying, "It's a Dreamliner." Dreamliner. I play that song sometimes.
Are you working with the same crew every time, or is it all different people?
No, they're all different people, but they're pretty senior people. They're the London people.
Oh, okay.
And now and London comes back at the end of the month, and since we're not doing London, they're all doing this. It's kind of fun. And we've been having room parties, and it's kind of funny because we're all signing into our rooms, and we're like, who's who's hosting the room party? And then behind the desk, I say to the lady, I'm like, don't worry, we're not crazy. Yeah, we won't destroy the room. She's like, oh, I'm not worried.
You were like
I'm not the one.
Old people.
We're not new flight attendants.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not young flight attendants. So yeah, we pick up after ourselves.
You took your husband on a few of them, right? Didn't you take Dave?
Yeah, he's worked a couple of them. They've been fun. Yeah, we went out to dinner. And then last week we did a pub crawl, a historic Stockyards Fort Worth pub crawl, and learned quite a bit about Texas.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And then you've got London coming up, right?
Yep. And in 2 weeks.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm ready for it to come back.
So have you already bid next month, just the straight Londons?
Yes.
Nice.
I just got my schedule today.
Woo!
And you travel too, Monique, right? What have you been up to?
Yes.
You just got back.
So Tani was going to go out and see her sister, Tracy, who came out to our meetup in Dallas, and then see her mom for the weekend. And I had work the whole time, but I was trying to figure out how I could get out there as well. Anyway, and on Friday, I got Tani on like the 2:00 flight to Orange County. And then I'm driving home, pulling in right about 5 o'clock. And my friend Brenda, who was on the show, was like, hey, do you want your shift tomorrow? And I was like, no. And she's like, perfect, I'll pick it up then. And so I heard text Tani, I was like, can you guys pick me up tonight? Because I was actually going to try to come in the next day. Anyway, so worked out. I came home, actually text Tani and said, I hope I have outfits. Because I knew I had clothes, but I didn't think they would actually match, and flew out there. And so we spent the weekend in Orange County, which was really fun.
I forget Tracy's husband's name, but he works at LAX, but they live closer to Orange County, right?
Correct.
Isn't that usually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Steve's the one. He's so funny. When Tani and I flew out of LAX to London, last year, he got on the cameras and like was spying on us. He took a picture of us over there. But yes, when we were there, I've seen on, I think it was on like Vanderpump Rules or whatever, their group went to this town called Solvang in California. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
No, I haven't.
So it's super cute town. It's actually it was funny. So they live by Orange County. I counted all the airports we drove past to get up there. And we drove past LAX, I believe, Burbank. Oh, now we fly to Calabasas and Santa Barbara.
We do?
Yeah. So I was like, there were 4 airports in between. But yeah, so it's about 30 minutes just outside of Santa Barbara, kind of in the mountains. But it's a sister town of this town in Denmark. And so it looks just like a cute little old Denmark town. So it's kind of old-fashioned looking, and they have Dutch bakeries around and just cute little shops. So we just walked up and down and had lunch. And yeah, so I think we got a really good burger. Tracy got a bratwurst. So yeah, it was fun.
Did you said some of the things in the town, like they had a windmill? Were those donated by the sister city? Did they get those from the sister city?
I don't know. We didn't actually do too much like history or like reading signs. If Katie was with us, Tyler's wife, we would have known, but
You'd still be there. Yeah.
I was still reading on signs, but no, it was super cute. We'll have to put up some pictures of it, but yeah, we had a good time. Tracy was saying that her and Steve went and did kind of a little anniversary weekend there. And I was like, that would be so fun. There's wineries around that area. So yeah, just go up, spend the weekend would be really cute.
How far a drive is that? A couple hours because of the traffic and stuff?
Because of the traffic from like the Orange County area, it was about 3.5 hours. I think coming back was a little less. It was closer to 3-ish. I was going to say about the Solvang thing. Also, I was just going to say, if people flew into Santa Barbara, it's probably the closest airport. And then you'd still want to rent a car and then have to drive like the 30 minutes to it. But it would be a super fun kind of day trip kind of thing to do.
Or you guys could have took a Zed fare there from LA.
Who would fly that?
United flies that route, LA to Santa Barbara.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Is it express?
Oh yeah, it's just like a 175. I think it's one of the shortest flights in the country. I think they also fly San Francisco to Santa Rosa, which is even shorter.
Did we not have a San Diego LA flight at one time though?
They do too. Delta and United have that flight.
Oh, do they as well? Okay, so that's not that uncommon.
No, that's kind of like San Diego or Yuma or Tucson to Phoenix. It's short, but it just get into with the hub. That's cool though. Do you have some pictures we can share?
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's
I
super
saw
cute.
their Snapchats. It looked like a fun day.
And was the windmill a real one or a Lego one?
It was the real one. Well,
Okay.
actually, I don't know if it actually spun. I think it was actually just decoration. But yes, it was cute.
That sounds like something like cool to do, especially in our summers when it's hot. Like you go to Santa Barbara, just go out of the day, and
Yeah, and
especially if the times match up for you to get over there for a day trip.
they had parking, like free parking spots around, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's good.
So I have a question. I'm curious to hear about Lara. Did you hear the new thing United's doing, Monique?
No.
Flight attendants can drink on the job now.
So, yeah, because the FAA, I would feel like that's an FAA thing, not an airline.
It's when they're deadheading home and they're basically like done.
Okay.
They're allowed to drink. And I feel like I'm the only one that thinks that seems like a bad idea.
Oh, really? Why do you think it's bad?
Our airline, that they're not allowed to do that because they're on duty because they're deadheading. Deadheading doesn't mean you're a passenger. Deadheading means you're a flight attendant off duty for that flight. You may be perhaps going to another flight to work, but you're
getting paid though, right? You're on the clock.
You're getting paid as if you're a working flight attendant, as a working crew member. Meaning, if there were an emergency, you would be called upon to help evacuate the airplane, which kind of a funny story because my girlfriend Victoria went to Recurrent last week and she flew into Dallas and she always bids Recurrent with another girlfriend of ours named Hillary. And Hillary was going from Colorado Springs to Dallas to meet her to go to Recurrent. Well, on the way from Colorado Springs to Dallas, they had an engine fire and they went to Denver and Hillary evacuated the airplane. So my question, and she wasn't working and she wasn't even deadheading. She was on company business and she evacuated the airplane. So does she really have to go to Recurrent now?
No.
But that's
Votes no.
I think she's still because I'm sure that you do more than just. I mean,
Yes,
I'm sure she's trained, but what if she had been drinking?
exactly.
It's kind of like
What
if
if she
you
had been drinking?
put it in for us, or end of the day, there's another like 2 hours left, and they're like, "We're probably not gonna have anything left." Can you like, can we just go start drinking then? We're on the clock. I mean, is it any different than that? Like, you could have something come up, like you could have an emergency come up, but probably not. But still, it seems crazy that they're going to be. I'm sure I'm the only one that feels like this.
Well, isn't there something too
Well,
that
no,
because I know when you did it, you don't have to be in uniform, but a lot of times they are. And I thought even you guys weren't supposed to drink at all in uniform. Is that not correct?
no,
Like, yeah,
you
like,
can't drink at all in uniform.
well, and I know like for
Not a
me,
bit.
if I've gone, like if after work and I'm going in to get something, I make sure to not have any of my like uniform pieces. If I'm going to
At the
buy,
grocery
yeah,
store?
if I'm going to buy any alcohol or things like that, I'll make sure just because I don't want any appearance of, you know what I mean? Like
Well,
someone,
If you want to take it, yeah, if you don't want to give that appearance, if you want to take it a step further as a non-rev and I'm in the lounge, if I think I'm not getting on that flight and I'm going to ride the jump seat, well, I'm not going to drink because I'm on the jump seat.
You're still.
What if something happens and I'm on that jump seat? They're going
Yeah.
to need me to help evacuate.
It seems like a weird thing that they wanted and they got approved. Because the only reason that they would have changed it is if people had been complaining. We want to be drinking. I don't know. It just seems like a
It's
weird.
their last leg home.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
but
seems
what
like
if something happens on their last leg? What if somebody has a heart attack right in front of them? Are they going to not help that? You know, but now they've been drinking. You know, it's
it seems surprising to me that it was even an issue or something that they wanted. So I was just curious what you guys thought.
yeah, it
Because to me,
almost,
they're still, if they're getting paid.
that
Why
was
would-
just going to say, then have it so it's like, then you're excused from work. Like you're not being paid anymore. If it's that important to you, you're not getting paid
Yeah.
for it. But you're like, I know I can have my drink, but I'd rather probably get paid for that flight. Just sitting there than have my drink.
this should be in our hot topics section.
But if they offered it to you, would you vote for it, Lara? That you want it?
No,
Okay.
no. I get mad when people jump on the jump seat and I think they've been drinking because I think it's a privilege that we get to sit on the jump seat.
Yeah.
And get to where we want to go on a full flight.
Because that means you're sitting on your lap for those few minutes, right?
But she's so
Yeah.
tiny that it's probably not a big deal. Well, we always joke that gate agents would be a lot happier if they had like tequila shots in our break rooms.
Well,
So maybe it's something
that's probably true.
we should fight for.
Like when things get bad, you could just go in and
Yeah, we're like after tough flights, you just go, you know what? It's time for my shot.
There's a story about this really, really, really old flight attendant in San Francisco that when she came to Phoenix to work, she was in the back galley drinking coffee and she poured a Bailey's in it and everybody watched her drink it. I wasn't there. They all watched her drink it. And then they said, "You're drinking Bailey's in your coffee." She's like, "Oh, it's delicious." And they're like, "What? It's liquor. You're not supposed to be drinking." And she goes, "It's not liquor. It's flavoring."
Like she really didn't know? Or she's just
Well, she claimed she didn't. She claimed she didn't know. I'm like,
But-
you're senior to us.
yeah.
our friend from Next Trip Podcast. Did you hear his news, Drew?
It is
That's
just flavoring though. Come on. I
He's
didn't.
retiring. From
I heard his news, but probably Momo didn't know.
he's
doesn't know.
retiring from his airline.
Okay. And has enough probably time in service to get lifetime benefits.
Yeah, so he's got his
Okay.
benefits are set, his flight benefits are set, and then now he got a cushy job working for the city in
Oh.
DC. He's gonna work at DCA, kind of at the same job for the city. So I'm not sure exactly what that does, but
Hmm.
it should be a good move for him.
Yeah.
Probably a little more stable because airlines it's just those people, they can get fired at any time working for management at airlines. They're
Yeah.
not like, we're all union, but they're not union, so
Hmm.
he's excited for it.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So
It's really cool. It sounds like a really good job. And, we met a lot of those people, the Phoenix Scott Harbor people, when we did the Cranky Network Awards.
Yeah.
They were there. So that's kind of fun. He gets to do a lot of fun things like that.
I think it would be less stress. What do you think? Just making sure an airport's just kind of like keeping things going. But it seems like
If
it
it was
seems like an
any airport
airline
other than
DCA.
it's DCA. It's DCA. I don't know. One
I
of the
feel like-
9/11 planes took off from DCA.
Yeah, but I feel like it's got to be lower stress than like Newark or JFK or some of those big ones. Like,
And it's not like Phoenix where you have to pretend to be the friendliest.
yeah. That's gotta be so much pressure because you're not friendly at all, but you gotta like you have that like everyone
Well,
expects you to be
welcome
friendly.
here.
Yeah. Take your stuff and get out.
Oh, with
think that's-
Southwest, were we going to do their old news?
Well, yeah, because it came out as of a couple of weeks ago. What did you guys think about that?
About
That's surprising.
Southwest.
I figured it was coming at some point, but I still was a little surprised. I feel like because it's been in place, that policy for the free bags for so long that it still does feel just a little bit like, oof, things are changing.
Yeah, and changing fast
Yeah.
because they made a couple of big changes recently. It'll be interesting to see where they're at in a couple of years because it feels like all these changes needed to happen. They just, because they're all happening at once, it seems like it's such a punch in the face. Where if it was like one of those changes per year for the last 10 years, it wouldn't have been a huge deal.
Yeah.
But it's just like all been like 8 months. It's just like every time you turn on, something else is changing. Their seats, their everything. So
And next thing we'll know, they'll be
Have you talked to
announcing they're buying Boeing or they're buying Airbus.
that wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're getting the 220s or something. Even I was reading some articles, the 737s are so limited, they're going to be going. They almost need some sort of feeders, some smaller planes that can go to
Oh,
like Yuma for us, Tucson. I mean, they fly to Tucson already, but to come to their hubs as they switch. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to partner with SkyWest or some of these small.
that is because
No.
they don't partner.
Yeah, that's
And
not
so
how. But
it-
if they're going to go to more of a hub,
Well, they don't interline either. They don't interline
Yeah.
they just started.
bags. They don't.
They do have an agreement now with Iceland Air. They just really, that was another thing they started. So yeah, they're starting to sell their tickets. Everything was all sold on Southwest.com. That was the only place you could get them. And now they're starting, I guess, to show up on. They're having a lot of changes on like wherever you buy Travelocity or wherever to buy
Expedia?
tickets. Expedia, yeah. So
Travel Zoo. Yeah.
Interesting.
Those are the ones, Monique, that give you a hard time at the airport because they made their own connection and it's about 20 minutes. And how come they didn't make their flight?
Stupid.
Yeah. All those ones, yeah, and we never use because we just QR through our Non Rev ways. So, but then also I saw Frontier is doing no check baggage fees this summer. They're trying to like when Southwest
They're
did that.
swooping in on that.
Yeah, I just saw an
Oh.
article about that. So they're doing deals and then no cost for checked bag. So it'd be interesting to see if they stick with that or if that's just kind of a little
When is that coming up?
contrast.
Because
No,
Ali Joe's
I think
playing
they're
on.
great. I think soon. Like check if you're interested because I got a insider before I saw the article that made it public, but he said we're having a sale and
Oh, so
Um,
it will be associated with your ticket, though.
yes,
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
believe
So, if Ali Jo already bought her ticket and she's flying like next week, it won't apply because that ticket will have the bag
I-
fees associated with it, probably.
I don't know. Probably. I don't know though. Yeah.
Interesting.
You can write our friend that may work for them.
Yeah.
You may know better. So all right. You want to hear about my trip?
Yeah, I'm super excited. That's it. You have this WhatsApp like feed or whatever. What do you call it? Channel with like me, mom, and Katie all showing us pictures of your trip. So I've been scrolling through those. It's super fun.
Yeah, that's
I
what
love the pictures of the boys.
I was
Food.
sending them to a couple of different people. So I was like, I'm just going to do one. So I set up just a couple of people that sent them all at once. But yeah, it's good. So I'm still in Asia. Last time we recorded, I was just started the trip. Just landed basically first day in Seoul. And now we're at the end of the basically 2 weeks. It's been about 10, 11 days, I think, since we recorded. And now I'm in Taipei and we fly home tomorrow. So we'll get to that later.
So how was getting around in Seoul?
Seoul was good. So remember a few weeks ago, Luke was on the show and he had been there. Public transportation is really good. It was so at first we're trying to figure things out. And I think I had mentioned a couple weeks ago that we did the Seoul Pass where you get like, you could choose 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, you pay a certain amount and you get access to all these. So we did that. And so I kind of where we're going to go in the city. I have my two boys with me. They're 6 and 9. So a lot of the stuff that we did was based on some family stuff, not as much stuff to do that, like, if I took my wife there or as they come with friends, we may not have done the same stuff. Just preference that with what I'm kind of saying. But a few of the things, there was no public transportation to. It just happened to be places. And so we would just Uber there, which was really easy.
Okay.
But then after that, my boys, that's all they wanted to do. Like if I'm like, we have to walk 5 minutes to a train, they're like, Uber, like have someone come get us. And I was like, no, we have these tickets now. We're going to use them. It's interesting because you have to. I wish there was. I like the places in the world where you just tap your credit card.
Mhm.
That's your when you go onto buses or trains or wherever, and then it just charges the card. And both Seoul and you have to go buy a card. So you have to get cash, which I know was told us by Luke. You have to get cash out, and then go to like a 7-Eleven and buy a card. They're really cheap, but then you put money on each card, and so
Oh.
it's like it's just another step that's just like just go to the. We already have credit cards or our phones. Just let us tap them and go. So that was a little bit of a issue, but yeah, getting around was really easy. The buses and those in Seoul have trains everywhere, buses everywhere, tons of them. So that was easy. So that was
So even
was
reading the
not too
signs
bad.
on trying to figure out which bus to catch wasn't that hard.
No, they do a pretty good job. I feel like here in Taipei, I've had a little bit more issue with because I'll have Chinese and English in Taipei, and so I have a little more trouble of exactly knowing. It'll be like it's going to this area, but it doesn't match up. So we've had a few more issues with that, but we've got around everywhere we needed to go. So
Good.
we've got that figured out.
Did you have to use Google Translator?
So that's been big, and I don't know. We've never talked about it. We've already mentioned it. I don't think have you guys used Google Translate
We
or any kind of
On the plane.
well,
I've
Like you
used it
do
on
on
the
the-
plane with passengers.
okay?
we used it in
Have you,
Paris too.
Did you?
Yeah.
And that's why I never have really used it. I mean, maybe a little bit playing with it, but we've used it all the time, and it's actually pretty amazing because with the phone, I can just hold it up and read whatever signs in Chinese and Korean. And so there's no signs that I can't read. And then most of the time I've been able to talk to people, but whenever you can tell, like it's just not, it's not connecting, I can say it into it and show them when they're like, oh yeah, or I can have them talk into it. And so it's really, because that was one of my worries for years of traveling was like, I'm not going to understand the language, but with that, there's been almost no language barrier. And even I've seen things, and I think in the future, we're going to get to the point where, even the near future, where we'll have our earpods in or something, and you can have a conversation with someone. Could speak with someone in Korean, and I can hear exactly what they're saying, and it just comes right to me in English, and I can speak English, and they can understand me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I've already
Like,
seen things like that. Or yeah, I think it's
once-
kind of out. It's just not super popular, that technology, but I believe it's out. Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's going to be huge for business, for international students that come over and maybe not know the language. They can just listen to teachers teach in their language, basically, because it'll just translate everything for them. I wouldn't be surprised if one thing I wish that those, like I said, the Google, you just hold it up. You could have like glasses that would just like look around at everything, and you can see this for me as in English. I could just read it. And the one thing I wish, honestly, was the prices. It would transfer everything into U.S. dollars because I hate doing the math. I'm always like, how much is this? So like 100 Korean dollars is like 36 cents, but 100 Taipei dollars is like $30. And so after
Oh, it's
being
a
in
big
one where it's
difference.
like 30,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, oh, it's just this. Like, oh, that's actually a lot more money, but it's just like, just let me see the exact in U.S. dollars, so I can kind of say, okay, that's a lot for a shirt, or that's actually really good. So that's one thing I wish that was translated a little bit better. But yeah, I think the translation and how it's going for travel is going to be huge in the next couple of years, as those, like you said, the products are probably designed. They're probably just not out as much for. But I think once you get those, and you could like just, it would be interesting to like have those in and sitting on a train and kind of listen to people talk around, because I don't know what anyone's saying now, but they like, look at these white kids that don't know what they're doing. They're noisy kids. So, but yeah, that's been very helpful. Is if you haven't done that, don't worry about translating things, because with Google Translate, you get anywhere. Well, we went to this food markets last night.
The night market.
Yeah.
So far,
He's
who's
always talking about. Go ahead.
no? I was gonna say. So far, who's had the better food? Korea, or in Taipei?
Oh,
So we didn't try a whole bunch of different foods in Korea, I think last time I talked, we had some of the market foods that were really good, and I think they have them both here too. The same things because people that heard that episode were like, "Just try it." They have those same stuff in Taipei, the custard filled things, and so. But last night we were at the night market and in Taipei, and this stuff was amazing. We had just the dumplings were like it's like butter going down there, just so smooth. The food was so good. And what else we have? We had this. They took a tortilla type thing, and they put some nuts on it, and then ice cream, and they made it into a burrito. So it was like a ice cream burrito. It was really good. And then we had this other thing, this Korean Taiwan roast beef, where they had fresh roast beef on top of potatoes. And then they took one of those big things of cheese, wheel of cheese, that they heated, and they like scooped off the cheese onto it. Oh, it was really good. So
I saw a picture of that.
hopefully we're going to go out tonight and do that again.
Nice. So one
That'd
thing
be yummy.
I learned from Chelsea that I really liked is talking about your highs and lows. She'd always ask her kids, but for the daytime. It was something I kind of started doing with my kids when we would go on vacations. I would say, what was your high and your low? Have you asked your kids any of their like highs and lows of the trip so far, or do you have highs and lows?
Yeah, so back with Korea, like, because we did a couple of different things that kind of stood out. Like I said, there was some of this that was like kid stuff, but one of the things that it showed a water park, because I was like, okay, there was a sauna and a water park, and I was like, the kids will like to go to a water park, an indoor one, because it was kind of chilly in March in South Korea. And we got there, and they were like, that's just on the weekends, and we went on like a Wednesday.
Oh no!
So they said that the sauna's open, so we ended up going to the sauna, which was I've never done like a bath sauna, and we go in, and it's all these naked Korean guys,
Oh,
and we had our swimming suits on. The guy's like, take them off. So I was like, okay. And my boys are like, what? And I was like, it's okay. It's just guys. Like, we can. So we end up going in there, and we loved it because we've been walking a ton. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
lost some weight because we've been walking so much. And so just to go sit in, and inside there, they had a couple of different, one was a cold pool, and then a hot tub with like some jets on the side, and then a couple more hotter ones. And then they had a bunch of places where the guys there's a steam room, a sauna, and we were in there for like 2 hours, just laying in those hot tubs and relaxing. My boys loved it. And Jake loves the steam room. Like, so we went in the steam room, and he was like, I can't breathe, but I love it in there. So when we're done, Jake's like, I want to come back tomorrow. Like, he loved it.
Oh,
At first it was kind of that, like, there's a lot of naked guys, Dad. And I was like, it's okay. Like, we're okay. Like, but yeah, it was.
so he's gonna
I
go
keep
home and be
telling him-
like, I was swimming with a bunch of naked people.
I need a bunch of naked guys. So I can't tell him, like, calm down. Like, we got to be quiet here because everyone was, it's not like a loud place. But that was actually, we all really liked that because it was just quiet.
And I bet your bodies did
There-
need that day, or that time
Yeah.
just to kind of relax.
And after that, we went to this, it was called the zoo, but it was in a mall, and it wasn't big animals, it was small ones. And you got to interact with all of the animals. So you bought for food that you would feed. So we were like, my boys were all with the videos up. They'd put the food out there, and these little birds would eat right out of their hands. The birds were like all on our arms and our hands, these little teeny birds. We got to feed otters, where the otters would stick their hands out these little holes and grab
Oh,
the food right off of our hands. And this the toucans, is that what it's called? The bird, the big beak.
The
Really
Fruit
pretty
Loops?
birds. Yeah, those kind of birds. But they put
Toucan?
them on their arms. Toucan. They put them on their arms to hold them, and after they would feed them. And so the boys loved that. They got to just like really interact with the animals there. So I mean, that's not really necessarily a Korean thing, but that's something they had there that was kind of a really neat thing. Another thing we did and I know this isn't like you could only do this here because like we went to an aquarium. And I think I'm so cheap that I've never really been to like an actual aquarium, because it's like I'm not paying $30 a person to walk through to see fish. But that since it was part of the package that we get yeah, exactly.
pass.
And so, and it was really cool. Like they had one of those tunnel things that you're in. You walk
cool.
in, they have huge rays and huge sharks like going right over your head, like inches from you. Like, there's the wall, but you could just like almost like drag your hand as these huge rays would go right over your head. And I guess it's not exactly, but it was really cool. Like it was one of my favorite things we did. So that was something that was really neat that I really liked. So, and the boys were digging all the different sharks and different kind of fish, and so yeah, that was fun. The one more thing we did in Seoul that was kind of stood out to our boys was they have a zoo. We did a zoo. It's off peak, so no one was there, and you take a ride up like a ski lift right to the top of the mountain, and then you walk down.
Perfect.
And then next to it is a amusement park, and so you got to do them both at once. And you think, if you ever think like a kid's dream would have like his own amusement park, it was like the size of, if you know, Lagoon for us or Six Flags.
Okay.
It's like that size. There was probably 100 people attending that day.
Oh my gosh. You guys just walked on literally everything then.
Yeah, and we were the only people on most rides.
Oh my gosh.
There was also a handful of rides that were closed because it was not many people there, but we would just go straight on rides. They were just eating it up, and they had a big dinosaur thing my kid loved. My youngest is huge in dinosaurs, the youngest boy. So that was fun. He got to just really embrace that. And one mistake we made was this Korean mom and her little girls had got off the water, like a log ride. And I said, "Did you get wet?" And she's like, "Just a few drops." And we got on and we got soaked. And it's like upper 50s. It's freezing outside. We're soaking wet. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like I thought a few drops I could handle, but so it ended up trying, but it was fun. But just because you have your own park, unless you're going to have people working on the rides, it's not all. But that was one of those days we just walked. We probably walked for 10 hours straight because you go up the mountain and then back down and then all those rides. So at the end of the day, my boys were just like, "Oh, I can't walk anymore." So
that's when they were calling for the Uber.
Yeah, they were like, "What's this?" And I was like, "There's a train that'll take us right back." But yeah, that was good.
Sounds like
I don't know if they had.
But you Ubered. You Ubered.
We did a few times. Yeah. Everything was fun there. The one thing that I didn't work out as well as there was a night water ride up and down the river, and my boys were so tired because we had been going so hard. They slept through the whole thing. Like we just went too hard, so that's fine. But yeah, so
Sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
Seoul was interesting. Korea was interesting. I noticed that there was no kids, and I was like, "Why are there no kids in South Korea?" We were there mostly middle of the week, so I'm like, maybe they're in school. We did a couple of amusement parks. Like we did that. We did a whole another one another day that was more high school age kids, but you didn't see any kids my kids' age, like none. And we went to like children's museums. We went to the aquarium. We went to all these places you would think would be packed with kids, and no kids. And I ended up seeing some articles later that South Korea's birth rate is the lowest in the world. Like they're just not having kids there.
Oh,
and so it was interesting to see how few kids they had there. That was one thing that stood out to me. It also felt the people were more, let's say, everyone was in dark clothes. You didn't see like colored hair. You didn't see people that had like, I don't know, tattoos or just like, even with Japanese people, because you can see when they're more like vibrant, like different colored hair, different makeups, different. Yes, exactly. In South Korea, it was more like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like there's still a lot more structure, like that we're in the fall. That's how it felt to me. Maybe I just didn't get out as much, but it was fun. We had a good time in South Korea. So.
You want to talk about how you got to Taipei?
Yeah, so there was an interesting story with that I wanted to share. So we flew the 747 on Korean over. I talked about that a few weeks ago.
Finally.
Check.
Yeah.
You're part of the club.
And so I was looking at the options to go to Taipei now. And there was a handful of flights, and Asiana was one, and they fly, as I saw, they fly at 380 on that route. It's a 2.5 hour flight, and they fly at 380. I looked it up. It's the second shortest 380 route in the world. because I think they also fly
Wow.
to Japan, which is a little bit shorter. So that's the second shortest one. So I got the loads that there was like 40 seats open on South Tower and like 8 people listed. So I was like, okay, we should get on. And I get to the check-in counter, and we go up there, and I was like, here's us. We're checking this in, and the lady goes, I only have exit rows, and you have kids.
Oh, so she was just going to
I was
deny
like-
you.
I was like, okay. She goes, so I can't get you in. She goes, I have 1 seat. But she goes, if you want to buy the 2 seats next to it, then I can get you guys together. And I'm like, we don't have to sit together. I think there's a little bit of communication issues. And she was like, well, if you just want to buy them, and it would be like, she told me the money, and I was like, I don't care about so I said, is there a flight later with seats? And she goes, well, let's see later. And this was, we're early, because I want to make sure we got there plenty early, hours before. And I go, well, can we wait, see if no one shows up? And she's like, yeah, you can do that. And
So
so
I was
I'm
going to say,
like,
yeah,
okay. So
because
it's
if she's saying they're open, why would you need them? But okay, it still had time.
I was still confused, and I didn't need a seat assignment. It would have been nice, but I didn't have to. And so I said, okay, we'll come back in like 45 minutes when you get to that close to cutoff, and we'll talk then. Because they had a line dedicated to Non Revs. Like
Oh, cool.
all the Non Revs staff, the staff traveler people would go on that line. And so we went and set them chairs, and I grabbed a bag of candy out, a small bag of candies with our little card saying thank you. I gave it to my son Jake, and I said, give this to her. He took it up to give it to her, and within like 2 minutes, she came back and said, I talked to my manager, I got you seats. And
Oh,
so I don't know if she was already working on it or if the candy helped.
pushed it
but-
over.
Yeah, but she came over, and she came up and she was very grateful for the little bag of Snickers or Skittles or whatever we gave her. But she said, we sat upstairs on the 380, and on their 380, it's
Oh.
like business all the way to like the back section. There's probably 100 seats of economy in the back. In the very back, it's 242. And so there was 2 seats together, and then 2 rows back, 1 seat in the window. And I told her, like, we don't have, I mean, it's not even a long flight. And so Jake sat by himself, and then so we got together, got on. But it was just really a kind of a weird situation where she was kind of like, didn't want to give her, just want to sell us seats. And I'm like, why do you just put, I don't care where we sit. Like, I'm not asking
Yeah.
for anything. So that was kind of a weird, but since she got the seats to get through security, we were able to get through. We went to the Asiana business class lounge because that's part of Priority Pass.
Oh, cool.
So it actually was really, really good food.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
At first, they were looking at my kids and they're like, we're full. And I turned around and I could see tables and they're like, hold on. So it was full once you went inside, but there was, I mean, pretty full, but there was a couple of tables we could sit down and have a quick meal real quick before we went and got on the flight. But at the 380 was, if either of you, the Lara hasn't, Monique, if you,
Mm-mm.
being upstairs, sitting next to the window, there was a whole like area. I'll show you a picture of it where I could open up a little latch and put a whole backpack in. So you're not like you're like smashed against the window, being upstairs and against the window.
Yeah.
There's room. 'Cause on
Interesting.
those 2 seats, the seats had, on our premium economy, have those little like bars that come down here for your feet.
Yeah.
They had those. So it was such a smooth takeoff and landing. Like it didn't even feel like we landed. It was all of a sudden it was like stopped. It's like we landed.
Oh, wow.
So it was very different than sometimes you like on the 737. It's like you're like plowing into the ground.
Boom. You're like,
Tires.
we're like, I think the tires popped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2.5 hours is nothing. I know my son got it all the way through Mana too, but they gave us a full meal on a 2.5 hour flight, a full in the back, a full meal, yogurt,
Wow.
some noodles with meat and a cake and drink. They do small drinks. That's one thing in Asia that's very different. I'm so used to just drinking like huge bottles of water or juice, and they're like, "Here's your shot," and I'm like, just leave the bottle. But they were very nice. I feel like the Korean service was a little more attentive, like a little better service. Asiana they were nice too. Both of them. I didn't say this last time, but both of them, when my kids were sleeping, they put a sticker in front of them that said, "When you wake up, let us know. We'll bring you your food."
Oh,
So even on the
Oh.
Korean flight, which is like a $12 flight from LAX, Jake was asleep. They put a sticker on his because we left at like 11 o'clock at night, so we just crashed out. And 8 hours later, when they were getting ready to do breakfast, they saw it and they go, "Do you want dinner service?" And I said, "That would never happen on our airline."
No.
Do you remember when we were growing up, Monique, what our mom would always say?
the kitchen
About-
is closed. That
Yeah,
one?
like when yeah, exactly. When my mom was like serving, if they're not, I feel like our flight attendants are like, "Sit down, here's your food," and I want to clean it up and get it done. And they were willing to get dinner out for him hours later. Because she goes, "Does he want it?" And he was awake and I was like, "You want dinner?" He's like, "I'm hungry." And then she goes, "Okay." And then she goes, "Well, we're gonna do breakfast in like 20 minutes." I said, "Oh no, just do breakfast then." But they would have got dinner out for him like 8 hours late. I thought that was pretty
That's
crazy.
nice.
And Asiana did the same thing, but it was a short flight, and he had fell asleep, and so he didn't eat anything because it was so short. But he goes, they put a sticker on, so they letting him know, "When you wake up, let us know, and we will feed you, like even if whenever it is." So that was
Where did they put the sticker?
right on the like TV screen, right in front of him.
Oh, okay.
So when you wake up, it's just like right there.
I like that.
Not one
That's
that's gonna
cool.
like, yeah. That was something that I was not used to, but we gave them a big bag of candy also, and they went back and found a bunch of like origami coloring book things to
Oh,
give to both my kids to say thank you for those.
Oh,
So they
that's
were,
nice.
yeah. So my boys have been doing origami for the last week here in Taipei. So yeah, 3A was
Good.
cool. So
that's another one to check.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I'm happy for you. That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that was sincere. Thank you.
I think I even told Tani the other day, I was like, Tyler's crossing off 2 airplanes on this trip. I said, that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
And a continent.
Oh, yeah.
So
And you were invited. He invited you.
Who?
Didn't he invite you, Momo?
I invite her to the one in the fall.
Never mind.
So, sorry, Monique.
Well, it was fall spring break for Tani, so
How was it?
Are we getting
So
into
if you
Taipei on this
We're-
one, or did you want to save it for another episode?
no, let's just get through real quick.
Okay.
And then
No,
we'll be
that's cool.
done with.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever we drag stuff out, people are like, "You've been already been talking too much."
No one
So I-
says that, but okay.
no.
You can see the numbers are down. Like the second show, whenever we do 2 shows with people, the second one always gets less numbers than the first. And it's just downloads, but yeah. So we've been in Taipei. Today's the last day. Well, tomorrow we go home, but we've done a few things here that have been fun. I feel like the first week in Seoul was more like kids, and in Taipei it doesn't feel like it's as much like kid stuff, or if there is, I'm just not doing them. So we're doing more stuff.
So now it's about
Not
you.
necessarily just more culture stuff than there is like amusement parks and children's museums, that kind of things. They have a lot more of that, or that's what was available. I was going to do the pass here, and then when I was doing the math and compared to just spending and buying them, it's like it's cheaper just to not do the pass and just do the things on your own. It doesn't get you to at the beginning of the line, but a couple of things that stood out. I know Tom Rennie talked about the Taipei 101. It's the huge skyscraper. It's actually right next to us, behind us, and it's 101 floors. That's why it's the Taipei 101. It's
Oh, wow.
An introduction to Taipei.
Yeah.
But you get to go to the top, like not the very top, but the 98th floor. So we went up there last night for sunset and watched the sunset up there,
Oh,
and you
cool.
could see over the whole. And Taipei doesn't seem very big to me. Seoul was huge because we went up the tower of one of the towers in Seoul, and it's just enormous. Like it just seems like it goes on and on in every direction. But for whatever reason, maybe we haven't got out much, or we've been on trains underground. When you went up there, I was like, oh, Taipei is really big too. Like it's a big city. And so going up that high up and just getting to see every direction was really cool to kind of see. Taipei, as we got out, because we went to the zoo the other day, which has pandas, it was really cool because we don't get to see pandas. I mean, I think they're in San Diego and DC right now. I think those are the only zoos that have them. I could be wrong. Got to go watch pandas play a little bit. It was kind of fun.
Oh,
But as you're driving through the mountains to kind of get over to the zoo, or a couple of times yesterday, we were driving through the mountains, it almost feels like Han. Like it's a very tropical feel outside of the city because it's kind of cool in this like right now. It doesn't feel like really warm like Hawaii, but some of the mountains just feel really just thick green mountains as you drive through.
Pretty.
It's really pretty here. I'm sure in the summer it's kind of hot, humid, kind of nasty, but as of right now, it's really nice. Yeah. So, so the top of that tower was cool. I mean, it's something that I would suggest to go up there and see over the whole city. One of the things that I saw when I was looking at the pass that they offer that we just did without the pass was there's a little village up in the mountains where you go up and they do those lanterns where it's a big lantern. It's like the size of my kids, and you ride on them, right, and then you send it up into the heavens. And so we went up and did that. So that was one of the things that I saw. And I was like, hey, I want to do that. And we went up there, and it's this teeny
Was that
little...
pricey?
No, not at all. Actually, things in Taipei are very affordable. Everything has been. The three of us to go to the top of the tower was the most expensive, and that was $50 for all three of us.
Oh, wow.
But
That's good.
most of the bus rides are under 50 cents a person. So it was a couple of dollars to get up there and a couple of dollars to get back. It's about an hour,
long.
about an hour and a half ride up and back each way too. So it's not a lot for. And then we just chose. There's a bunch of little like shops will set you up and have you paint and then light it on fire and do the whole send up the thing.
Oh, I love that.
So you
But
write like
we
your
went to the-
wishes on it, or kind of your
Yeah, whatever
your
you want.
hopes?
So my son, the youngest Chris, he wrote like have a happy world or something, and so I wrote like our names. I
Oh.
wrote like on one of mine, I wrote the Phoenix, LA. I wrote out the airport codes on all of ours.
Oh, cool.
The airplanes we flew on. We wrote family names. I wrote Non Rev Lounge on one part of it.
Oh, cute.
And then you go out and they open up the lantern. They start it on fire underneath it. There's a fire thing they start up. If you're watching the video, I'll put all the videos so you can kind of watch as I'm talking about this. And then they send it up in the sky, and all these lanterns are going up. So as you're kind of getting into the valley, you're driving in, coming up on the bus, and you can see lanterns going up everywhere.
Oh, cool.
And as you get in this little titty, and we bought some more souvenir stuff. But so that was really cool to go to see and do that. My boys, that was kind of a highlight for them. So, and for me too. So I'm glad we went and did that. That kind of was
Yeah,
one of
sounds
the fun
cool.
things that, yeah, we got to do there. So
A little tangled moment
yeah.
almost.
yeah, send them up. So, but yeah, that was one of the highlights. And then the food market was another thing that I talked about already. So, but
The
we're
night
hoping to-
market.
the night markets, yeah, so many different kind of foods. They had these, what was it, squid on a stick. They were grilling, and they just chop them up and you just eat them like
Oh,
all
no.
different kinds of foods. Yeah. So,
Nope.
and actually, my boys have been a little more brave here with trying food. So,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Hawaiian pizza.
yeah, that was the first night. That was the mistake. Not a mistake. So we were so tired. We went over underneath the base of the Taipei 101. They have a whole like a bunch of food places to eat in there, and can you hear me on? They weren't willing to. I wanted to try food, but different Chinese food, and they just wanted. They saw pizza. They wanted pizza, which is better than McDonald's because they have McDonald's too. And
Blech.
the youngest one ordered Hawaiian pizza. And I was like, whatever, just eat it. So he gets it, and then he was so tired, he was peeling the pineapples off of it. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I don't want it. I was like, you picked this. Why did you pick this if you don't want it? It's driving me crazy. And because
You picked it.
they wouldn't have the same thing they could share, because neither of them could eat a whole pizza. That means I had to eat part of each of theirs, and then I didn't have any room for. So yeah, that was annoying.
You
but
didn't get a choice to what
Kids.
you wanted to eat.
Yeah. So I
Did you eat the pineapple?
yeah, I like it. So it's good for me.
Oh, I do too.
But I would have
Monique,
rather.
Are you pineapple on pizza?
I don't mind it. Yeah. I know people are very divided over that. And
Oh yeah.
I don't mind it.
Of everything we talked about today, that's the one thing people will comment at the end of the show was if we were right or wrong, if that's okay to.
But I
like
mean,
that kind
just
of-
straight up grilled pineapple is delicious. So, I mean,
Yeah.
sure, put it on pizza.
It is really good.
It's one thing that having my boys, they have had a good time with chopsticks they're not great with them. I'm not either. I actually dropped a dumpling last night on the ground. I was so mad because we got a little box of them, and I was like, oh. But if I had someone that was a little more adventurous, that would have been fun. Just because they're doing okay, but they're still pretty reserved on the things that they'll try. I'm not expecting them to try squid, but just as a few things.
I don't know. You got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old to take off all their clothes in a room full of old men. I think that's pretty adventurous.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They were okay with that, so.
When have they ever been naked in front of other people?
My youngest is naked all the time.
He's in, yeah. Never mind.
Monique lived with him for a while, but yeah. So now we're just kind of trying to figure out how to get home. So this will come out. I should have been home for a couple of days now by the time this comes out.
Knock on wood.
I'm trying to decide. One of the options is back to Seoul, and then the 380 back to LA. I'm trying to decide which is the best. Our airline has, as of right now, 8 open seats in business. From Seoul. We have to get to Seoul, which is not easy because the 3 flights to going are pretty full. If we can get there, we might be able to sneak some business seats all the way back to the mainland.
Which would be super nice, yeah.
Yeah, and then if we don't get on those, then Asiana has a wide open 380 back to LA. So it's funny because before, when I was planning this trip, all the flights look really open, and we were able to get on them coming in. But staff travel workers at the beginning of March put out a thing that's like challenging. And I was like, is this just for the States? Because it's spring break is such a big deal in the States. And so I wrote Guillermo and I was like, is this just States? Or he goes, no, worldwide, the flights are full in March, which is kind of surprising because I just know like in the summer just because I didn't realize. But we haven't had problems. I'm more worried about once landing back in the States, getting back to Phoenix, getting into Phoenix during spring break. So if it's from LA, San Francisco, Dallas, Seattle, there's even a flight that goes from Taipei to Ontario, California. And
that might be it.
Oh, wow.
So we may end up on that flight too. Yeah. It's weird that there's no flights from Taipei to London, but there is a flight from Taipei to Ontario, California.
Yeah, Ontario's weird.
Yeah. So, anyways,
all right. Well, safe travels back.
Yeah. So that's our plan. We go.
And good non-rev luck.
Thank you. We have anything else to talk about? Was that everything?
I think so.
Sorry, a lot of me.
No, it's good.
No, that's what's happening.
Because are your kids ready to be home? Because I know mine only last about 3 days away. Force pushing it.
I asked them that in the beginning.
Is it because they can't poop outside of home?
No, 2 of mine have no issues with that. They probably are 3 to 4 times a day poopers. So
anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah,
I've heard there's people that have that issue, and that reminds me, this hotel does have a bidet, and so I was wondering,
you've never been so clean.
Can the hotel staff know how long someone is on one, or is that not a thing?
Like room 304 has used their bidet for 7 hours.
The one we had in our crew hotel in Honolulu was heated seat.
Ooh.
Yeah, this says heated. Well, I thought that was interesting because you want a heated seat at home, but not in public.
Amen.
If you sit on a heated seat in public, you're like,
oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, but if you sit at home, you're like, oh, this is nice. So actually, this morning, Chris, my youngest, he said, Dad, can you do it for me? So I took him in there and I turned it on like a little, and he was like, oh, this is nice. I said, okay. He was enjoying the bidet. So, all right. Well, it's good to catch up. Thanks for everyone for listening. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, but it's been a fun trip. If you want to go, if you have questions, I can tell you what I've learned. So reach out to us and I can share. I think it was a good time to come. It was cold, pack warm. Even Taipei, remember I mentioned it was going to be warm here. I think tomorrow's 72 is the highest. It's been in the 60s.
Oh, so it's not really warm.
No, it's not. It's not warm. They have a heated pool at the hotel here. We could go swimming. We may go to that later, but for the most part, it's been nice. I'd rather actually have it be this temperature where it's like sweatshirt. I even wear shorts, like sweatshirt and shorts, than in the summer when it's just like nasty hot and muggy. So, because it's definitely humid here, but it's, yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, we're not, get a hand. So, yeah, that's fun. I'm glad we came.
So when we go to Donetta
Okay.
Hot Springs this summer, are your boys going to try to take their swimsuits off?
We may have to remind them of this. It's not the place for that. We do it at home or on the trip. So, you might hear that. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yeah. If you want to reach us, you can find us at the Non Rev Lounge podcast at gmail.com. Everyone stay safe.
Bye.
This has been Non Rev Lounge. This episode was sponsored by Staff Traveler, which is the #1 app to get your non rev loads. It is used by over 800,000 people from all airlines the world over and built to make your non rev trips easy and stress free. Sign up now for free at stafftraveler.com/non rev lounge.
Well, that was good, I thought.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Sorry. I swallowed raw.
Oh, no. Are you okay?
I'm so sorry.
You're
Yeah,
good.
I'm so sorry. Because you're in the middle of your cadence.
They would be so proud.
Who would be proud?
Yeah, cadence. Okay. So you said to Tani, can you pick me up tonight?
Yeah. So I came in, I packed within like 20 minutes, just threw everything in a bag